Every year, factories around the world produce billions of jars of mayonnaise. Supermarkets, restaurants, and fast food chains rely on a constant supply of this creamy sauce. It spreads easily on sandwiches, mixes into salads, and appears in countless recipes. Yet behind this familiar condiment is a surprisingly delicate process. Mayonnaise may look simple, but from a scientific point of view, it is one of the most unstable mixtures used in large-scale food production. The sauce is made mostly from oil and water-based ingredients, two substances that naturally repel each other and separate almost instantly. Factories must turn these ingredients into a smooth, stable emulsion that stays perfectly blended for months. If even a small part of the process goes wrong, the entire batch can separate. So how do manufacturers produce thousands of tons of mayonnaise every day without it breaking apart? To answer that question, we need to step inside a modern mayonnaise factory and follow the journey from raw ingredients to the familiar jar on supermarket shelves. At its core, mayonnaise contains only a handful of ingredients. The largest component is vegetable oil, which can make up nearly 70 to 80% of the final product. Egg yolks act as the key binding ingredient. Vinegar or lemon juice adds acidity, while salt, mustard, and spices give mayonnaise its recognizable flavor. What makes mayonnaise possible is a process known as emulsification. Normally, oil and water separate into layers. Anyone who has shaken a bottle of salad dressing has seen this happen. But egg yolks contain natural compounds called lecithins, which allow oil droplets to remain suspended in water-based mixtures. During mixing, the oil is broken into millions of microscopic droplets. These droplets become evenly distributed throughout the liquid mixture and are held in place by the emulsifiers in the egg yolk. When everything works correctly, the result is a thick and stable sauce with a smooth texture. The difficulty is that emulsions are fragile. If oil is added too quickly or if mixing conditions are incorrect, the droplets can merge together again. When that happens, the sauce separates and the batch is ruined. Producing mayonnaise in an industrial facility means this delicate process must be controlled with remarkable precision. In a home kitchen, mayonnaise might be made with a cup of oil and a single egg yolk. In a factory, the same recipe is scaled up dramatically. Vegetable oil arrives in bulk shipments and is stored in towering stainless steel tanks. Some of these tanks can hold tens of thousands of liters of oil at a time. Pumps move the oil through pipelines that distribute it throughout the production facility. Eggs are usually delivered in the form of pasteurized liquid egg yolk. Instead of cracking individual eggs, factories receive large containers that may contain the equivalent of thousands of eggs in liquid form. This allows the production line to run continuously while maintaining strict food safety standards. Other ingredients such as vinegar, salt solutions, mustard, sugar, and spice blends are stored separately in sealed containers. Each ingredient delivery is inspected and tested before it can enter production. Technicians collect samples to check flavor, purity, and consistency. Every shipment receives a batch number so the factory can trace exactly which ingredients were used in each production run. Once the ingredients pass inspection, the factory prepares them for the stage where mayonnaise is actually created. Egg yolk plays the most important role in the formation of mayonnaise because it allows oil and water to combine. Before reaching the production line, the liquid egg yolk is carefully pasteurized. This process gently heats the egg product to reduce bacteria while preserving the natural emulsifying compounds that make mayonnaise possible. After pasteurization, the yolk is stored in refrigerated tanks and transported through sealed stainless steel pipelines. These closed systems help maintain hygiene and prevent contamination. Meanwhile, the vegetable oil is prepared in its own storage system. Industrial pumps regulate how quickly the oil flows toward the mixing equipment. Temperature control is also important. Oil that is too cold becomes thicker and harder to disperse, while oil that is too warm can destabilize the emulsion. Sensors constantly monitor these conditions before the ingredients move to the mixing stage. With the egg yolk prepared and the oil supply ready, the most critical step of mayonnaise production can begin. This is the stage where the sauce actually forms. Inside large stainless steel mixing vessels, the water-based ingredients are added first. These typically include egg yolk, vinegar, water, and dissolved ingredients such as salt or sugar. Industrial mixers begin blending the mixture at high speed. Next comes the most delicate moment in the entire process. The vegetable oil must be introduced slowly while the mixture is being vigorously mixed. Instead of pouring in large amounts at once, computerized pumps add the oil in a carefully controlled stream. The flow rate is precisely regulated to maintain the stability of the emulsion. Inside the mixture, powerful high shear blades spin rapidly, breaking the oil into extremely small droplets. These droplets are dispersed throughout the mixture and held in suspension by the emulsifiers in the egg yolk. As more oil enters the system, the mixture begins to thicken. What started as a thin liquid gradually transforms into a dense, creamy sauce. Within minutes, the base mayonnaise is formed. Factories monitor this stage closely using automated sensors that track mixing speed, oil flow, and temperature. These systems ensure that the emulsion forms correctly in every batch. Once the base mayonnaise reaches the desired consistency, the process moves to the next stage where flavor and texture are refined. At this point, additional ingredients may be added depending on the recipe used by the manufacturer. Some varieties include extra mustard, lemon juice, sugar, or spice blends to create specific flavor profiles. Automated dosing systems measure these ingredients with great precision to ensure every batch tastes the same. Technicians also measure the viscosity of the mayonnaise. Special instruments determine how thick the sauce is by measuring how it flows under controlled conditions. If the mixture is slightly too thin or too thick, adjustments can be made by modifying ingredient ratios or mixing parameters. Another important measurement is acidity. The pH level of mayonnaise is carefully controlled because acidity helps prevent the growth of harmful bacteria and contributes to the product's long shelf life. Once flavor, thickness, and acidity meet the required specifications, the mayonnaise moves to the refining stage. Before packaging, many factories pass the sauce through additional equipment designs to stabilize the emulsion even further. High-pressure homogenizers may be used to distribute the oil droplets more evenly throughout the mixture. This step helps maintain a smooth texture and prevents separation during storage. The finished mayonnaise travels through enclosed pipelines into large holding tanks where samples are taken for final quality checks. Technicians verify that the batch meets strict standards for flavor, viscosity, and stability before it is approved for packaging. With production complete, the mayonnaise now moves toward one of the fastest sections of the entire factory, the packaging line. Empty jars and squeeze bottles travel along conveyor belts toward automated filling machines. These containers may arrive from nearby packaging facilities or from external suppliers. The mayonnaise flows through stainless steel pipes into filling stations where precise equipment dispenses the product into each container. Multiple filling heads operate simultaneously, allowing hundreds of jars to be filled every minute. Sensors monitor the volume of product entering each container to ensure accurate filling. During this stage, the mayonnaise is often kept under controlled pressure to prevent air bubbles from forming inside the jars. Immediately after filling, automated machines place caps on the containers and tighten them securely. Sealing the jars quickly protects the mayonnaise from oxygen and contamination. The containers then pass through inspection systems that check fill levels and cap placement. Some factories also use metal detectors and optical scanners to ensure no foreign materials enter the product. Once approved, the jars move to the labeling section of the production line. Automatic labeling machines apply brand labels, ingredient lists, expiration dates, and production codes. These batch codes allow the factory to trace exactly when and where each jar was produced. Packaging machines then group the jars into cartons or shrink-wrapped bundles. Robotic palletizing systems stack these cartons onto large pallets that are wrapped in protective film for transportation. From here, forklifts move the pallets to loading docks, where trucks carry the finished product to warehouses and distribution centers. Within days, the same jars that began as simple ingredients inside a mixing tank will appear on supermarket shelves around the world. Even after packaging, the factory continues to monitor quality. Random jars are taken from the production line and sent to laboratory facilities where technicians perform microbiological testing to ensure the product remains safe. Other tests measure acidity, thickness, and long-term stability. Some samples are stored for months to confirm that the mayonnaise does not separate over time. Factories also maintain strict sanitation procedures. Equipment is cleaned using automated cleaning systems that flush tanks and pipelines with specialized detergents and sanitizing solutions between production runs. What seems like a simple sandwich spread is actually the result of careful engineering, food science, and precise industrial control. Behind every jar of mayonnaise is a delicate balance of chemistry and technology designed to keep millions of microscopic oil droplets perfectly suspended in a smooth, creamy sauce.